We're here with Chuck Reininger at Reininger Winery on the just west of Walla Walla. And you've got some construction going on here in the winery. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, well, we're putting in a new tasting room here, actually a new tasting bar. This tasting room's been here for a little while, but it's actually going to complete our winery that we've been after for the last 5 years, well, 4 years anyway, here. So we started construction on this. These were 2 potato sheds that we purchased and recycled into a winery. And so this is really kind of the last phase, except for some ongoing landscaping that will probably happen between now and eternity. And so we're really looking forward to this.
Tell us a bit about the tasting bar. I mean, this is kind of, I've never seen a tasting bar quite like this before.
Yeah, it's actually it's very unique. And we've been working with our architect, Joe Chauncey, out of Seattle on this project. And we just really want, like our winery here, we want it to be reflective of our home here, Walla Walla Valley, and also our agricultural history. So the tasting bar, the materials are indigenous. The front of it's actually the same wood that's on the floor here, which were originally sideboards in the old potato shed. And the flooring we recycled. I took it over to Dillon, Montana, and had it milled into flooring. And the front of the tasting bar there is the same wood. And then the vines that are woven in between barrel staves there, they come from 2 vineyards that we work with. Now we have the Reininger label, which is Walla Walla Valley, and we also have the Helix label, which is Columbia Valley. So some of the vines came from Breezy Slope, which is in the foothills of the Blue Mountains here. We work with some Viognier and also a little bit of Syrah off of there. We've done some Syrah port from there. And also from Stillwater Vineyard over on the Royal Slope. And it's an incredible vineyard. We absolutely love the Sangiovese Merlot that we get off of there. So anyway, we wanted it to reflect, what we do here and who we are. So yeah, and then we have our wine racks and cabinetry back here that we're actually going to incorporate our old wine racks that are in our temporary tasting room around the corner. And those wine racks actually have been in our family for years. My father-in-law made those, gosh, I don't know, years ago for his own wine cellar. Actually, I don't think he made them, but he's had them for a very, very long time. And when he redid his wine cellar years ago, he passed them on to his 3 children. And so when we started our winery out at the airport, opening day, spring release weekend, or actually Christmas barrel tasting in 2000, actually it was 1999. Anyway, we needed wine racks, so we gathered them up from Tracy's 2 brothers and the ones that we had, and we said we were going to borrow them for the weekend, and they've never been returned. So,
are you going to finally return them now?
Well, no, you know what? They're now partners in the winery too. So that's where the Helix label comes in. Okay. So the Helix label is actually the genesis started, was from them. They wanted to start a winery and asked Tracy and I if we would like to make the wine for them, and we said we would for a couple of years. And so anyway, we ended up becoming partners, and make a long story short. So her one brother, Kelly, he used to be the business manager for Hogue Farms and was controller for several years for the winery. Her other brother, Jay, managed the 2 family farms, our 2 family farms. My wife's family history goes back a long way. Both sides of her family actually have ancestors, if you will, who came over on the Oregon Trail. And our kids are 6th generation here in the valley. So we're really, pleased with that, and that's one reason why we really want this winery to reflect our agricultural history. But anyway, so like I say, Jay, he managed 2 family farms, and now he's part of our winery here, and so it's been a fun thing, because what it's really done, the family used to farm together generations ago, and this whole project with we actually sold one of the family farms that the three siblings had purchased from the grandfather, uncle, and their parents. And we sold one of those farms anyway to start that Helix label and to help do some of this too. So what it's done, it's brought the family back together and working together like it did 2 generations ago. You can only divide a farm up into so many pieces before. It's no longer an economically viable unit. So this has really made the ancestors happy. Grandpa, who's just turned 100 years old in March, and in fact we named Helix really after in deference anyway to he and his wife, because they grew up there in the town of Helix and were married there, and that's where our one of the family farms was located. So that's the story behind Helix.
This seems like a real step up from the Chateau out at the...
Yeah, the old Chateau Reininger. Yeah, it is. It's interesting seeing the evolution of our winery. Because when it was just Tracy and I and just focusing on the Walla Walla Valley with the Reininger wines, I always thought we would just be, in that Chateau for a long time anyway, but if we left, it would be in a small vineyard somewhere here in the valley. Well, again, the family coming together and working on this project, it's changed the directions a little bit. The Reininger is actually the same. We haven't changed our focus. We haven't gone over our ever intended production anyway of 4,000 to 5,000 cases. We do 4,000 cases of Reininger, and the Helix is our Columbia Valley label. And we want to be real clear, it's not a second label, it's working with another appellation. So it's another wonderful wine region here in Washington State that I as a winemaker get to work with. And so we keep the two appellations separate, and so it's a fun thing to do. I really enjoy doing that. So,
what's the significance of the snail?
Oh, well, Helix is actually the genus of snails that escargot comes from. So our flagship wine, Helix Pomasha, which is a blend of Cab Merlot, Syrah, and Cab Franc, actually Helix Pomasha is the scientific name for the vineyard snail, which is also known as Escargot de Bourgogne, which is the creme de la creme of escargot. And then our Helix Aspersa, which is our white wine blend under the Helix label, that is the everyday escargot, so otherwise the garden snail. And but yeah, and it's a great everyday drinking, white wine. It's wonderful.